Shalom, brothers and sisters. I hope you all doing great. The today lesson is about that Ruth is an Israelite woman. Okay, that Ruth is an Israelite woman according to the scripture, according to the books. But according to the word, Ruth is a Moabite woman. Okay, but that's not true. That's false. Me, I always believe, not always, but I used to believe that she was a Moabite woman, because when you go to the book and you see she was Moabite, and we all stop right there. Oh, she is a Moabite. Oh, if I can read Moabite, that means she is a Moabite. We wasn't go and like, let me go find out why they say she is a Moabite, or why they say, I will serve your gods and I will go back to my people. Let's nobody, not don't let me say nobody, but the majority of us, include me, never question those kind of scripture. You always think, oh, I can read Moabite, so she is a Moabite. But when you read the book, she is not a Moabite. She is an Israelite woman. Okay? And if I'm correct, she is of the tribe of Reuben, according to the lands and the place where the scripture said the land of Moab. They were the Reubenites was living there. So I do believe she was of the tribe of Reuben. But we're going to let the scripture do the work today, okay? If you believe in this book, you will see it. But if you don't believe in this book, you will say, no, she is a Moabite woman. But when you believe in this word, and one thing, when the scriptures say in the book of Psalm 147 that he never gave his law and statutes to this other nation, I do believe that he didn't. So when I come across someone in the Old and in the New Testament who trying to keep the law, or who try to connect with himself with the Most High, I do believe that he or she is of the Most High, because he told us he never gave his law to these other people. And the book says also that these people, they always they still worshiping their idols, their gods. So I believe in the scripture. I do believe in that scripture when he says that. So if you believe in that scripture, that's mean when you come across someone who keeping the law or do things that the law say, that means you must go back and do your own research to find out who this person is. Okay, I have a lot of scriptures to read today, so I don't want to do this video in two parts. So maybe it can be a long lesson, but I'm going to do it. Okay, so the first book is, I'm going to start in the book of Ruth, and I will go back and forth. So get your pen and your paper and write the scriptures down. Oh, and you can go and do your own research in your free time. Okay, now it came to pass in the days when the judges ruled that there was a famine in the land. So in that day the judges was ruling. Okay, the judges was ruling. Okay, and a certain man of Bethlehem, Judah, went to sojourn in the country of Moab. So, like this, that's mean, okay, let me read it. To sojourn in the country of Moab, he and his wife and his two sons. That's mean they were stranger in the land of Moab. You're going to find out so why it's called the land of Moab, okay? So they were stranger because they were sojourning there. That's why the scriptures say, when the sojourn, those Israelites, those stranger who sojourners among us, these are Israelites. A stranger is just another Israelite who decides to go and live in another tribe lands. That's a stranger. That then you sojourning in their lands. That's right here, okay? And we can be also like the stranger in the New Testament, because when you don't live in your own land, you are a stranger in the land. Just like we right now, we are stranger in the land of our captivity. Okay, so in the land of our captive. So they were of the tribe of Judah. Okay, this man and his wife and their two sons. And the name of the man was Elimelech, and the name of his wife Naomi. And the name of his two sons, Malon and Chilion. Chilion. Hope Chilion. Um, Ephraimites of Bethlehem, Judah. And they came into the country of Moab and continued continued there. So we read that there were famine in the land of Judah. So they decided to go and sojourn as a stranger in the country of Moab. And one thing you must understand, you have the land of Moab and the country of Moab. Like country can be small cities, village and all those things. But a land is like large. But sub country can be, like I say, village, small city, and or plantation. Those things that can be also lands. But they decide to go in the country of Moab and still live there because they were famine in their own land, in their own city, in their own city. Okay, and okay, let's go then to the book of Numbers, chapter 21. So we are in the book of Numbers, chapter 21, and I'm going to show you a maps out of my Bible, and I will do my best to show you the lands and the places, but you have to go and do your own research, seek the old maps, and when you do your study about this, you can take your own maps and this more be clear for you, but I'm going to just show you the basic, okay? So the book of Numbers, chapter 21, we're going to start at verse 3. Verse 3 through 6, I'm going to read. Okay? And then from there further. And the Lord hearkened. And the Lord, no. Yes. And the Lord hearkened. No, I'm going to start at 1. And when King Arad the Canaanites, which dwell in the south, heard tell that Israel came by the way of the spies, then he fought against Israel and took some of them prisoners. And Israel fought a foe unto the Lord, and said, If thou wilt indeed deliver this people into my hand, then I will utterly destroy their city. And the Lord hearkened to the voice of Israel, and delivered up the Canaanites, and they utterly destroyed them and their cities. And he called the name of the place Hormah. And they journeyed from Mount Horbai, the way of the Red Sea, to compass the land of Edom. And the soul of the people was much discouraged because of the way. And the people spake against Moses and against God and against Moses. Wherefore have ye brought us up out of Egypt to die in the wilderness? For there is no bread, neither is there any water. And our soul loathed this light bread. And the Lord sent fierce serpents among the people, and they bit the people, and much of the people of Israel died. And let's jump to 10. And the children of Israel set forward and pitched in Obot. So they stopped there. They was stop right there and stay there for I don't know how long. And they sojourned from Obot and pitched of Ayabarim. Go and read. You can read along. So it's very difficult, to read to pronounce these terms. Okay, pitch at Abarim in the wilderness, which is before Moab. So the place that they decide to pitch is before Moab, toward the sun rising. So here, I hope you can see this. I'm not sure, but that is the place that I have read. Is how did you say it? Is the IJ I have read where they stopped, okay, and it's next to the land of Moab, okay. So so they pitch as Aye Abarim. That's like it toward, next to the country, the land of Moab. Okay? So and let's jump to 13. From thence they removed and pitched on the other side of Arnon, which is in the wilderness that come out of the coast of the Amorites. For Arnon is the border of Moab, between Moab and the Amorites. So this this is Arnon. This is the border that separates the lands of Moab and the Amorites. Okay, this place. That's why you have to have you find your map, and it's going to be easy to understand. But this is Arnon. Is this separate the land of Moab and the Amorites. The Amorites is here, like all this is of the Amorites. Okay, so that here they pitch, they stop here between the border of at the border, just like I have read. Okay, so just like I'm going to read it one more time. Yes, yes. From thence they remove and pitch on the other side of Anon. So they pitch on the other side, which is in the wilderness that come out of the coast of the Amorites. For Anon, so they this the place the side that they pitch is come out of the side of the Amorites, not of the side of the Moabites, because the Arnon is the border between them. So they was more at the side of the Amorites, or both, not um up down. Okay, but they was above. Okay, um okay, which is in the wilderness that come out of the coast of the Amorites. For Anon is the border of Moab, between Moab and the Amorites. And 19, let me read 19. And from and they was removing, okay, and from Metana to Nahaliel, and from Nahaliel to Bamoth, 20, and from Bamoth in the valley that is in the country of Moab, to the top of Pisgah, which looked toward Jeshimon. But we have read in verse 13 that they was more at the side of the Amorites. But now I have read that they moved to the country that is in the, they went to this Bamoth, and this Bamoth is in the country of Moab, to the top of Pisgah, which look toward Jeshimon. Let's go and see where it is. So you see it's here. Okay, the place that they have moved is here. Is toward is toward Jesse, just like I have read. I can't remember. I don't know how to pronounce it, but they say he said it was in the side of Pisgah. Okay, that's why go get your map and read along, so you can follow it by yourself. Okay, because I think it's going to be a little bit difficult. Okay, but here, okay, here they was, but here is the land of Moab. Okay, here is the land of Moab, and here, this is the border, and from here to here, and this all this place is the land of the Amorites. But I have read that they was in the land of Moab. Okay, so here you can see this place. It say it's the plain of Moab. It's a plain of Moab, and it was more like, a little is okay. Okay, so like I said, get your map. It's going to be easy for you to see. Okay, and maybe I hope in the future, when I got more understanding about all this computer thing, because I'm not that, I don't have this knowledge about this. But then when I do video, I'm going to, when I know how you can do it, you can show things and still talk, then I'm going to do that. Okay, But now get your map and follow along with this. So we read that I have read that and from Bamoth in the valley that is in the country of Moab. So it is in the country of Moab. Bali is in the country of Moab, but this place is not in the country of Moab. It is in the country of the Amorites. Okay, to the top of Pisgah, which look toward Jeshimon. And all these that I have read, they are in the country of the Amorites. But the book says Moab. We're going to find out why it says that. And let's jump to 20. I have read 20 and then 22 through 26. Let me and no 21. And Israel sent messenger unto Sihon, king of the Amorites, saying, so they was there in the city, in the land of the Amorites, in the place that they call the place of the Moab. Okay, they was there. So they sent messenger unto Sihon, the king of the Amorites, saying, let me pass through thy land. We will not turn in the fields or into the vineyards. We will not drink of the water or of the well, but we will go along by the king's highway until we pass by thy border. So they wanted to pass by to their border. They wanted to pass there because it's going to be more easy for them to go to the promised land. And Sihon would not suffer Israel to pass through his border. But Sihon gathered all his people together and went out against Israel into the wilderness. And he came to Jahaz and fought against Israel. And when you go to the map, you will see where Jahaz also is. So they fight against Israel. And Israel smote him with the edge of the sword and possessed his land from Arnon unto Jabbok. You see? So from Arnon, Arnon is the border between Moab and the Amorites. So when they smooth them, they take all that land from above the Moabites to Jabbok. To Jabbok, you can go and look in the map. They possess all that place. Okay, even unto the children of Ammon, for the border of the children of Ammon was strong. And Israel took all these cities, and Israel dwelt in all the cities of the Amorites, in Heshbon, and in all the village thereof. They take everything. They take all the city of the Amorites, and they have village. Just like I said, they say Naomi and his husband and the children, they went to the country of Moab, in the country of Moab. And like I said, a country can be also a village or a small town. And the land of the Amorites were small, very large. And there was a place, there was the plain of Moabs. And there is like a field, like you can plant things, because when we're going to read, you will see that the lands, this land, they were rich. They have things to eat. They was, like a farmer. They had many water, cattle, things to eat. That's why they came here. Naomi and his family, when they were famine in their own city, which is Judah. Okay, so in 26, for Heshbon was the city of Sihon. Okay, the king of the Amorites, who had fought against the former king of Moab, and taken all his lands out of his hand, even unto Arnon. So before the Amorites possessed these lands, it was of the Moabites. They fought the former king, like I have, who had fought against the former king of Moab, and take all his lands out of his hand, even unto Arnon. So this land, where the Moabites was living, it wasn't their lands. Sorry, the lands where the Amorites was living wasn't their land. It was of the Moabites. They fought and took it of the Moabites. Okay, all the outside, when you see the land of Moab out on there, between the border Arnon, you have Moab land, and above you have the land of the Amorites. All that land was of the Moabites. But the former king before this fight and took the land, and it became of the Amorites. They took it. Okay, so that's why you can see in the map plains of the Moab, because even they took it, even the Amorites took the lands, but the place still called the plains of Moab, which like a country or village or all those things. Okay, so and let's go to the last one, 31 and 32. Thus Israel dwelt in the land of the Amorites. They dwelt in the land of the Amorites, which was of the lands of the Moabites. Okay, and Moses sent to spy out Jazer, and took the village thereof, and drove out of the Amorites that were there. And when you go and study the map, Jazer, they all these places. Jazer was also, the scriptures that they take from Arnon to the Jabbok River. So you go and study. Jazer, all those places, they took it from the Amorites. Okay? They took all these small village from the Amorites. Also inclusive the one who say the plains of Moab. It's like, a village or a small town. They took it, everything, and they killed. We're going to find out that they killed all the Amorites. So there wasn't any a stranger there. They killed every one of them. Okay. So let's go to the next book, Numbers chapter 22, verse 1 through 3. Yes. And the children of Israel set forward and pitched in the plains of Moab, the plains of Moab, on this side Jordan by Jericho. And Balak the son of Zippor saw all that Israel had done to the Amorites, and Moab was sore afraid of the people, because they were many, and Moab was distressed because of the children of Israel. So when these Moabites saw who was living at the other border or the other side of Arnon, when they saw this, they was afraid, like, oh, they took all that land, so they're going to take our land back. Okay, let's go to the book of Deuteronomy. Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 2. Chapter 2, verse 9. Verse 9 and 32, 33, and 37. Okay. And the Lord said unto me, distress not the Moabites, neither contend with them in battle, for I will not give thee of their lands for a possession. For I will not give thee of their land for a possessions, because I have given Ar unto the children of Lot for a possession. So these Moabites, they didn't know that the Most High already make a promise. They was distressed, but the Most High said, this land is of Lot their children. So the children of the Moabites, they are black people. Okay? If the black people, if Israel were dark back then, until this day they are dark people, black people, that means the Moabites, which is a cousin of Abraham. That means these black people, they still here till this day, just like we never changed, they never changed. And the day will come, I see people say the Moabites, they are the Japanese and the Chinese. No, those people don't even the Moabites. These Chinese and the Japanese, they are not the Moabites or the Chinese. Either they put on their bomb or on their flags that they are Moabites, they are not. Just like this word have give the word, the people who live in, they give them a false Israelites, they give them false Jews. The same thing they do, they still doing. They give us false Moabites and all those other people. The biblical Moabites, they're still the same till this day. And the day will come that just the same, the day will come that the Most High going to put the Spirit on them, and they're going to wake as well. Maybe there are someone of who know they are Moabites, but the day will come just like the Israelites are waking. The day will come that these people, they're going to awake, and you will see. Just sit back and watch. One day you will see that on YouTube. They will say, yes, we are the Moabites. Just like you see Israel say we are the Israelites. The same thing. So these people, they are not the Chinese the Chinese over there. Maybe they can be the dark one, but not those pale skin there. No, these people, they look like the Israelites because they were family. Okay, when you go back, but now the Most High separate them, and He took Israel and He put them special. These no, okay. So read. So the land, they're not supposed to take it because it was of the children of Lot. And let's jump to 32, 33, and 37. Then Sihon came out against us, he and all his people, to fight as Jahaz. And this Sihon is the king of the Amorites. And the Lord our God delivered him before us, and we smote him and his son and all his people. So they destroyed all his people. Okay? And we took all his cities at that time. They take everything, at all the lands that the Amorites was living. They take everything, even the plains of Moab. They took it, everything they took. And we took all his cities at the time, and utterly destroyed the man and the woman, and the little ones of every city we left none to remain. So every Amorites, babies, everything, they have killed them. They destroyed everything. Okay? And 37. No, that's all. That's all. Okay. So let's go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 3. So we still have to find out about this battle, about the how our people, how it happened that they took the land. No, why they how can I say this? But we still to read about the journey of our people, how it came, how it happened that Ruth, they call Ruth a Moabite. Why they call her Moabite? So that's why what's we reading about. That's our ancestor. They fight and took the land of the Amorites, which was of the Moabites before. And like I said, there was a place that was calling the plains of Moab. It was like, I will say village or whatever, but there was a lot of food there. Okay, so that's what we just still reading, searching. Deuteronomy chapter 3. We're going to read verse 1 through 6 and then 8. Then we turned and went up the way to Bashan, and Og, the king of Bashan, came out against us, he and all his people, to battle and at Edrei. And the Lord said unto me, Fear him not, for I will deliver him, and all his people and his land into thy land. And thou shalt do unto him as thou did unto Sihon king of the Amorites, which dwelt as Heshbon. And all those kings, when you study the map, they was living not that far from one another. Okay? So the Lord our God delivered into our hands Og also, the king of Bashan, and all his people, and we smote him until none was left to him remaining. Everyone destroyed. And we took all his city at that time, that were not a city which we took from them, 80 cities, all the region of Argob. And go and see on the map where those places are. The kingdom of Og in Bashan. All these cities were fenced with high walls, gates, and bars, beside unwalled towns a great many. Like I said, this kingdom, they were like next, or they wasn't far, they was next, like one another, the kingdom of Sihon and this one. So this one was, they said they destroyed everything. They destroyed everything, and all these cities were fenced with high walls, gates, and bars, and besides unwalled towns, and great many. So it was a very rich place. Okay, and we utterly destroyed them, and as we did unto Sihon king of Heshbon, utterly destroyed the man, woman, and children of every city. But all the cattle and the spoil of the cities we took for a prey to ourselves. 8. And we took at the time out of the hand of the two kings of the Amorites. Okay, so these were two kings of the Amorites. Okay, and we took at that time out of the hand of the two kings of the Amorites the land that was on the side of Jordan, from the river of Arnon unto Mount Hermon. So, like I said, they took from, from the border of, like, the river Arnon till Jabbok River and Hermon, just like I have read. Okay, so let's go to the book of Numbers 32, verse 1 through 5, and then 30 33. Yes. And now the children of Reuben and the children of Gad had a very great multitude of cattle. And when they saw the land of Jazer and the land of Gilead, that behold, the place was a place for cattle. These two tribes, the place that Moses took from the two king of the Amorites, okay, the land that belongs to the Moabite before. When they see that this land was rich, okay, there was a place for cattle. These two tribes, let me go and read, okay. The children of Gad and the children of Reuben came and spoke unto Moses, and to Eleazar the priest, and unto the princes of the congregation, saying, Eteroth and Dibon and Jazer and Nimrah and Heshbon and Eleale and Shebam and Nebo and Beon, even the country which the Lord smote before the congregation of Israel is a land for cattle, and thy servant have cattle. Wherefore said they, If we have found grace in thy sight, let this land be given unto thy servant for a possessions, and bring us not over the Jordan. 33. And Moses gave unto them even to the children of Gad and to the children of Reuben, and unto half of the tribe of Manasseh, the son of Joseph, the king of Sihon, the king of the Amorites, and the king of Og, king of Bashan, the land which with the city thereof. In the coast, even the city of the country round about. So they give these three tribes, the tribe of Gad, Reuben, and the half tribe of Manasseh, they give them the land that they took from the Amorites, which was of the Moabites. Okay, and one of them was the plains of the Moab. So, like I said, Ruth is one of those one. I think I said before I believe she was of the tribe of Reuben, but no, I believe she was more of the tribe of Reuben. No, I don't say it correct. She can be one of those tribe, okay? She can be, but go and do your study about that, because do the study, then you will see, okay, which tribe, okay? But this tribe was living in those land. They didn't cross the Jordan River, okay? So, the plains of Moab, it was more between, the Jordan River and the Jabbok River. When you go back to the old maps, before when you go back to the old map, before they you know they give each tribe a land, okay, before they give them name, before they share the lands for the tribes, okay. And the Jordan, the plains of Moab was between, more in the area of the Jordan River and the Jabbok River, and Jazer as well, and this was the tribe of Gad, who was lived about this area. So, but Reuben, Ruth, she can also be of the Reuben and the Reuben or the Manasseh, but the plains of Moab was more, like I said, was more close of the Gadites. So maybe she is of the tribe of the Gadites. She was a Gadite, okay. But anyway, she was an Israelite, okay. if she was an Israelite, she could be each every one of this one. But it's on you to go and you do your further research. If you do go and do your further research about the city and all those places, so you will see it correct where it is. But I do believe more it was, here in the Gadites. Okay. So let's go to the book of Judges, chapter 11, verse 1. We're going to read verse 1, 5, 12, 13 through 15, 22 through 23, and then 26. Now, Jephthah the Gileadite was a mighty man of valor, and he was the son of a harlot, and Gilead begat Jephthah. 5. And it was so that when the children of Ammon made war against Israel, the elders of Gilead went to fetch Jephthah out of the land of Tob. 12. And Jephthah that sent messenger unto the king of the children of Ammon, saying, What hast thou to do with me, that thou art come against me to fight in my land? So they come back like, your ancestor took our land, we want our lands back. So, and yes, and 12 and then 13 through 15. And the king of the children of Ammon answered unto the messenger of Jephthah, Because Israel took away my land when they came up out of Egypt from Arnon even unto Jabbok and unto Jordan. Now therefore restore those lands again peaceably. And Jephthah sent messenger against unto the king of the children of Ammon, and said unto him, Thus said Jephthah, Israel took not away the land of Moab, nor the land of the children of Ammon. You see, he said, I did not take the land of Moab, nor the land of Ammon. 15 and then 20. But Sihon trust not Israel to pass through his coast, but Sihon gathered all his people together and pitched in Jahaz and fought against Israel. And the Lord God of Israel delivered Sihon and all his people into the land of Israel, and they smote them. So Israel possessed all the land of the Amorites, the inhabitants of that country. And they possessed all the coast of the Amorites from Arnon even unto Jabbok, and from the wilderness even unto the Jordan. 23. So now the Lord God of Israel had dispossessed the Amorites from before his people Israel, and shall thou possess it? You say, like, it is the Most High who give them the land. So you think you can take it back? And then let's go to 26. While Israel dwelt in Heshbon and her towns, and in Aroer and her towns, and in all the cities that belong by the coast of Arnon 300 years. Why therefore did you not recover them within that time? So they before he came to this came to him. So in the day of the judges, in the time of Ruth, the ancestors lived in the land when they took it from the Amorites. They lived there like 300 years. So it was from generation to generation. They lived there like 300 years. Those tribes that he gave the land, like the Gadites, the Gadites and the Gadites and Reuben and Manasseh, they lived there, and before then they lived there 300 years. So that can tell that's a very long time. That's the same. This in the time of Jephthah is the time of the judges, which is the same time of Ruth. Okay, so let's go to the book of Numbers, chapter 36, verse 13. These are the commandments and the judgment which the Lord commanded by the hand of Moses unto the children of Israel in the plains of Moab, by Jordan near Jericho. You see, here is did the Most High give them the commandments in the plains of Moab. Even they took every all these cities, the land that belongs to the Moabites, and later it belongs to the Amorites. Even they took it. The place that I was showing you on the map, it was still called the plains of Moab. Okay, so here, like I said, he gave them the commandment. These are the commands and the judgment which the Lord commanded by the hand of Moses unto the children of Israel in the plains of Moab by the Jordan River near Jericho. Okay? And Deuteronomy chapter 34, verse 5 and 6. Verse 5 and no, verse 5 and 8. Sorry. So Moses, the servant of the Lord, died there in the land of Moab, according to the word of the Lord. So they still call it in the land of the Moab or the plains of Moab. Okay? It's the same, but it wasn't the land of Moab, just like we have read. They took it, but here they still call the land of Moab. And there we have read, it said the plains of Moab. But we know, like we read, they took the land. It wasn't belong of the Moabites or the Amorites anymore. It belongs to the children of Israel. These lands became of the Gadites, the Reubenites, and the half tribe of Manasseh. Okay, and he buried him in the valley in the land of Moab. There they buried him. Even here they say the land of Moab, but we know it's not their land anymore. Okay, and he buried him in a valley in the land of Moab, over against Beth Peor, but no man know of his sepulture unto this day. Yes? Okay. No, sorry. And verse 8. And the children of Israel wept for Moses in the plains of Moab 30 days. So the days of weeping and mourning of Moses were ended. Okay? So you can read plains of Moab, land of Moab, but it was belonged to the Israelites. They took it. Okay? So let's go back to the book of Ruth, chapter 1, and I was stopped at verse 2. I was stopped at verse 3, I think. So I'm going to start at verse 5, and we're going to read that 5. We're going to start now at verse 4. I'm going to read 4 through 5. And they took them wives of the woman of Moab. The name of the one was Orpah, and the name of the other Ruth. And they dwelt there about 10 years. And Mahlon and Gilion died also, both of them, and the woman was left of her 2 sons and her husband. So, if many of you who believe in the scripture, if you do believe what I have read till now, for you, it's very clear that this woman, she wasn't a Moabite, but she was an Israelite who was living in the plains of Moab or the land of Moab, but the land became possessed. The Israelite possessed the land. It became their land. And later on, the tribe of Gad, Manasseh, and Reuben, they took that land. I don't know how to say, but it was their land. Okay. So for now, you can say, okay, this is enough for me to know that she was an Israelite. She was an Israelite woman. But I'm going to read further. So here it said, and they took wives of the woman of Moab, and the name of they took wife. So we know about the history about the land, that our ancestors took the land. Let's go to find out in the law about these people, about what the Most High says about these people, the Moabites. And one thing, Naomi and his household, they was keeping the law. They was believing in the law. They was keeping it. Okay. Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 1 through 2. No, through 3. When the Lord thy God shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and hath cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites, and the Jerizzites, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, the Amorites, the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hittites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou. And it's not only this nation, for all these other people where we are. Okay, we're going to see that it's not only for these nations. Okay, and when the Lord thy God shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. That's what they do with the Amorites and the Ammonites. Okay, the, the Amorites. Okay, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them. Neither shall them make marriage with them thy daughter. Thou shalt not give unto his sons, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they will serve other gods. So will the anger of the Lord be kindling, kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly. So Naomi and her husband and the children, they was keeping the law, they was following the law. So this, they know about this, they know about this law. So believe me, they wasn't, if they know about this law, so that tell you that the sister that they give their son, they wasn't Moabites. Okay. Okay, the book of Deuteronomy chapter 22 verse 3, just one. An Ammonite or Moabite shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord. Even to their 10th generation shall they not enter into the congregation of the Lord forever. You can read you can read that for yourself. Okay, so this is the law that the Most High give us. They cannot come into the congregation. That means you cannot make marriage with them. You can't marry them. He said, not enter into the congregation of the Lord forever. So Naomi and her husband, do you think they're going to give their son to a Moabite woman? No, they're not going to give that, because they was keeping the law. And this one, you can bring them into the congregation. And the other one, you can make a covenant with these people. And these people was keeping the law. So that tell you she wasn't a Moabite woman. Okay? The book of Numbers chapter 25 verse 1 through 4. And Israel abode in Shittim, and the people began to commit whoredom. Because when they took the land, they began the whoredom with the daughters of Moab, those who was living the other border of Arnor. Okay, these were the really Moabites, and they called the people unto sacrifice of their gods, and the people did eat and bow down to their gods. And Israel joined himself unto Baal Peor, and the anger of the Lord was kindling against Israel. And the Lord said unto Moses, take all the heads of the people, and hang them up before the Lord against the sun, that the fierce anger of Lord may be turned away from Israel. And these people, they know the law, they know the history. Do you think they're going to give their daughter, they're going to give their sons to these Moabites women? No, they're not going to give them to the Moabites woman. These Ruth and the other sister, they were Moabites of the tribe of Gad or Reuben or Manasseh. They was living in the land of Moab. Okay? The land of Moab, which they possess and become their lands. The land of Gad, the land of Manasseh, and the land of Reuben. So, let's go back to the book of Ruth chapter 1. I'm going to read here very fast. Okay? 6. Then she arose with her daughters in law, that she might return from the country of Moab, for she had heard in the country of Moab how that the Lord has visited his people in giving them bread, and his people are the tribe of Judah. The land of Moab, where the tribe of Judah, in the land of Moab was living, who they still call the land of Moab, but it was the land of Gad, Reuben, and Manasseh, but they still call the land of Moab. Just like I have read, when they said when Moses died, they buried him in the land of Moab. The Israelites, they was whipped there in the plains of Moab, just like this, but it was of the Israelites. Okay, so of Moab, how that the Lord has visited his people and given them bread. His people were Judah, of Judah. Wherefore she went forth out of the place where she was, and her two daughters-in-law with her. And they went on the way to return unto the land of Judah. And Naomi said unto her two daughters-in-law, Go return each to her mother's house. And their mother's house is Judah, no, sorry, their mother's house can be the tribe of Gad, Reuben, or Manasseh. Okay? The land, the Lord deal kindly with you, as she have dealt with the dead and with me. The Lord grant, and let me read. And Naomi said, Turn. And I'm going to jump to 10. And they said unto her, Surely we will return with thee unto thy people. And who is thy people? Because they are not of the same tribe. Remember, Naomi and husband, they sojourned, they went as a stranger to the land of the Gadites or Reuben or Manasseh. So they were there as a sojourner. Those people, one thing you must understand, there are 12 tribes, 12 nations, they are different. So the tribe of Judah or Naomi nation people, the tribe of Judah or the people of Naomi, the tribe of Gad, Reuben or Manasseh, those the which one of who these two women are, those are their people. Okay, that you must understand. That's why when you understand about the stranger thing and the Gentile thing in the New Testament, it's going to be more easy to understand these things. Okay. So he said, yeah, return with thee unto thy people. Okay. And Naomi said, Turn again, my daughters. Why will you go with me? Are there yet any more sons in my womb, that they may be your husband? So this is the law about kinsmen. That's why I said this woman, she was keeping the law. She was talking about the law of kinsmen, the blood relative, that when someone, your husband die, you have to marry the other sons. So they was keeping the law. Okay, turn again, my daughters, go your way, for I am too old to have an husband. If I should say I have hope, if I shall have an husband also tonight, and shall also bear sons, would you tarry for them till they were grown? Would you stay for them from having husband? Nay, my daughter, for it grieved me much for your sakes that the hand of the Lord is gone out against me. So this is the law of the kinsmen. We're going to read it soon. And they lift up their voice and wept again, and Orpah kissed her mother-in-law, but Ruth clave unto her. And she said, Behold, thy sister-in-law is gone back unto her people, which are the Reubenites, the Gadites, or the Manassenites, or the Manasseh. Okay? And unto her gods, return thou after thy sister-in-law. So he said, he went unto his people and unto her gods. And I used to believe that when she said unto her gods, it was idols, because the Moabites were worshiping idols. But no, it wasn't gods. We're going to find out what they were. One thing you must understand, at verse 1 of this book, it was the time of the judges. The judges was ruling. And according to the books, the judges were gods. But we're going to read soon. Let me read it one more time. And she said, Behold, thy sister-in-law is gone back unto her people and unto her gods. Return thou after thy sister-in-law. So let's go find out about these gods. What it mean when it say unto her gods. Let's go to the book of Exodus, chapter 22, verse 28. Thou shalt not revile the gods, nor curse the ruler of thy people. So these gods are ruler, which are the judges. Okay, in the time of Ruth, the rulers were the judges. Okay, they were judges and they were scored as well gods. Okay, I'm going to read it one more time. Thou shalt not defile the gods, nor curse the ruler of thy people. Thy people is the judges who is ruling in your tribe. That's your gods. And if you are the Gadites, all these tribes, the Most High give them all judges. Okay, so in every tribe they were judges. We're going to read in the book. But some became wicked. But the Most High in this every tribe he gave a head, a ruler to rule over his tribe. Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 16, verse 18. Judge and officer shalt thou make thee in all thy gates, which the Lord thy God giveth thee, throughout thy tribes, throughout thy tribe, and they shall judge the people with just judgments. Okay? So let's go to the book of 1 Chronicle, chapter 17, chapter 17, verse 5 through 6. For I have not dwelt in a house since the day that I brought up Israel unto this day, but have gone from tent to tent, and from one tabernacle to another. Wheresoever I have walked with all Israel, spake I a word to any of the judges of Israel, whom I command to feed my people, saying, Why have you not built me an house of cedars? So, like we have read, these judges, they were rulers and they were gods, but not those one like you have to go and bow down for them, but they were gods. And when he said your gods, he was saying the judges of your tribe, just like I have read, because each tribe they have their judges. Okay, let's go to the book of Psalm, chapter 82, verse 6 and 7. I have said, ye are gods, ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. But ye shall die like men, and fall like one of princes. So ye are gods. These rulers, they were just like they were human, but they were gods because they was working for the Most High, and they was children of the Most High. Okay, but they was going to just die like a man. Okay, and let's go to the book of John, chapter 10. John chapter 10. John chapter 10. Okay, right. Chapter 10, verse 31 through 35. Where is it? So, John chapter 10, verse 31 through 35 or 36. Then the Jews took up stones again to stone him. Jesus answered them, Many good works have I shown you from my Father. For which of those works do ye stone me? The Jews answered him, saying, For a good work we stone thee not, but for blasphemy, and because that thou, being a man, makes thyself God. Jesus answered them, Is it not written in your law? I said, ye are gods. In the book that I have read in Exodus, Deuteronomy, and Psalm, that ye are gods. These rulers were gods, and in these false Pharisees, they were like God. So because they were rulers. Okay, so Christ told them, Is it not written in your law? In your law, I said, ye are gods. So the Most High, right? Yes. So his rulers are God because they are his children. If he called them gods, unto whom the word of God came, and the scripture cannot be broken. The scripture cannot be broken. It is true. Okay? They are gods. They are children of the Most High, but they're going to just die like people, just like a man. Say ye of him whom the Father hath sanctified and sent into the world, Thou blasphemest, because I said I am the Son of God. He was quoting with the scripture. These judges, they were gods. So Christ, who came and say I am the Son of God, all the sudden they want to kill him. But it's written in the book that rulers, these judges can be gods as well. But these Pharisees, they were wicked. They just wanted to kill. They wanted to kill Christ. Okay, so we have find out that when she said gods, it wasn't like idols, but they was the rulers, because the rulers in the time of Ruth, they were judges, and these judges, the Most High put them as gods. Okay, so going to still continue in the book of Ruth, chapter 1, and verse 16 through 18. Then I'm going to the second book. Okay, and Ruth said, entreat me not to leave thee, or to return from following after thee. For whither thou goest, I will go, and where thou lodgest, I will lodge. Thy people shall be my people, and thy God my God. So you of the tribe of Judah, I'm going to be the tribe of Judah. I'm going to live with you as a stranger there. I'm going to how did you say this? How the book say? I'm going to I'm choose to stay to that tribe. I forgot the name. I forgot the name. When I believe in the book of Jeremiah, when they say the tribe of Ephraim, and okay, I'm going to be your companion. Yes, a companion. I'm going to be he said, thy people shall be my people, and thy God going to be my God. I'm going to be a companion. You're going to become my people. Okay, and your God going to be my God, which means your rulers, your judges going to be my judges. Okay, it's the same, because they all was serving the same God, but if everyone was in their tribes, and every tribes have their ruler, which are the judges. Okay, so 17. Where thou diest, I will die, and there I will be buried. The Lord do so to me, and more also I owed, but that part thee and me. So I'm going to jump to chapter 2. And Naomi had a kinsman of her husband's, and kinsman is a blood relative, okay? Of her husband's, a mighty man of wealth, of the family of Elimelech, and his name was Boaz. And Ruth the Moabitess said unto Naomi, let me now go to the field, and clean ears of corn after him, in whose sight I shall find grace. And she said unto her, go, my daughter. And she went and came and cleaned into the field after the reapers, and her hap was to light on a part of the field belonging unto Boaz, who was of the kindred of Elimelech. Okay, and behold, Boaz came from Bethlehem, and said unto the reapers, the Lord be with you. And they answered him, the Lord bless thee. Then said Boaz unto his servant, that was set over the reapers, whose damsel is this? So he was talking about Ruth. And the servant that was set over the reapers answered and said, it is the Moabitish damsel that came back with Naomi out of the country of Moab. And she said, I pray you, let me clean and gather after the reapers among the sheaves. So she came and had continued even from the morning until now, that she tarried a little in the house. Then said Boaz unto Ruth, hearest thou not, my daughter? Go not to clean in another field, neither go from hence, but abide here fast by my maidens. Let thine eyes be on the field that they do reap, and go thou after them. Have I not charged the young men that they shall not touch thee? And when thou art at thirst, go unto the vessels and drink of that which the young men have drawn. And I'm going to jump to I'm going to read. Then she fell on her face and bowed herself to the ground, and said unto him, why have I found grace into thine eyes, that thou shalt take knowledge of me, seeing I am a stranger? Okay, I am a stranger. She told Boaz. Let me read. And Boaz answered and said unto her, it hath fully been shewn me all that thou hast done unto thy mother-in-law since the death of thine husband, and how thou hast left thy father and thy mother and the land of the Nephthite, and art come unto a people which thou knewest not heretofore, or people that thou knowest not. These texts of people that thou know not. When the Most High said, I believe in the book of Hosea, are people that you knows not. It does, I think, in the book of Isaiah. I don't know where, but it said a people that you know not. It doesn't have to mean. It doesn't mean that it's someone that you don't know. But here it's someone of another tribe, because the tribes, they were large, they were big. So you can travel to the, you don't know every one of the Israelites. So he was saying that, like, uh, you came and moved to a country with people then you don't, because you was living with the Gadites or Reubenites or Manasseh, and you moved to here with people that you didn't know. That's what she was talking about, okay? But we're going to read why did he call her stranger, because, like I said, Ruth was indeed a stranger, because when you travel from tribe to tribe, you are a stranger there. And she was of the tribe of Judah. She was of the tribe of the Gad, Reuben, or Manasseh. One of those tribes she was. So she was a stranger here, okay? And those things that I have read about reapers, that is the law. Let's go and read it. And the thing is, when Boaz saw her, Boaz, he was like, this is going to be mine wife. That's why he told the servant, she must stay, you must take care of her. That's why, sisters, if you want a husband, of you say you believe that you need a husband, pray, and the Most High going to send you a husband. You don't have to chasing the bag or do many things, selling your body to get rich, or giving your body to this heathen, because you think you will, they the only one can make you become rich. They are the only one who can taking care of you. That's a big lie. Okay, but just pray to the Most High, and He's going to send you a man. If you're seeking for a man, He's going to send you one. This sister, he wanted a husband, but he wasn't chasing the bag. He was more like was chasing after taking care of herself, and her mother-in-law. And guess what? The Most High did bring her in, uh, right into the field of the this wealthy man. He was a very wealthy man, and she wasn't even seeking about it. But the Most High bring her right into the hand of this man. You see how the Most High works? The Most High know what you want and what you need. Okay, but you have to trust in Him. Let's go find about this law. Let's go to the book of Leviticus, chapter 19, verse 9 through 10, and then 33 through 34. We're going to read about the stranger, and we read Ruth. She went to the field of Boaz to reap, the leftover, I will say, the reapers. And this is the law according to the law. You, as a wealthy man, when you, let me go and read it, okay? So Boaz was keeping the law, and that's mean Boaz. When we read, okay, let me keep my mouth shut and just read. So the book of Leviticus, chapter 19, verse 10, verse 9 and 10. And when ye reap the harvest of your land, thou shalt not wholly reap the corners of the field, neither shalt thou gather the cleansing of thy harvest. And thou shalt not clean thy vineyard, neither shalt thou gather every grape of thy vineyard. Thou shalt leave them for the poor and stranger. I am the Lord your God. So this is what Boaz was doing. That's why the sister said, Ruth said, I am just a stranger. And indeed, that's why they allowed her to go and reap there. And there were also other people who was reaping there, because she was a poor sister. And we're going to read more that this was for the poor, the stranger, and the widow. And her mother-in-law was also a widow, so they were poor. So they was going and reap there to taking care of their self. This was the law, and Boaz has to allow the people to do this. And when you do it, the Most High going to bless you more. So it was the law. Okay? And like this stranger, she was an Israelite. but just one who decides to sojourn in another tribe. Then you are stranger there. The same it's the same with Ruth. And 33 through 34. And if a stranger sojourn with thee in your land, you shall not vex him. That's why Boaz told these men, these servants, you better take care of this sister. Don't touch her. When she needs something, you better take good care of her. Okay? But the stranger that dwell with you shall be unto you as one born among you. You better treat this sister right. Even she was like, she's a beautiful sister. She is a virtuous woman, but she was telling the servant, you better treat her right. Okay? um, Shall be unto you as one born among you, and thou shalt love him as thyself, for you were stranger in the land of Egypt. I am the Lord your God. The other one is Deuteronomy chapter 24, verse 19 through 21. When thou cuttest down thy harvest in thy field, and hast forgot a sheaf in the field, thou shalt not go again to fetch it. It shall be for the stranger, for the fatherless, and for the widow, that the Lord thy God may bless thee in all the work of thine hands. In this case, Ruth and her mother-in-law. Ruth was a stranger, and Naomi was a widow. But Ruth was taking care of Naomi. Yes. When thou beatest thine olive tree, thou shalt not go over to the bogs again. The bogs again. It shall be for the stranger, for the fatherless, and for the widow. When thou gatherest the grapes of thy vineyard, thou shalt not clean it afterward. It shall be for the stranger, for the fatherless, and for the widow. And all these people, stranger, fatherless, and widow, they are all Israelites. Okay? So let's go. I have explained that. So let's go to the other books. You can go and read the other part for yourself. But let's go to the book of Ruth, chapter 3. Then Naomi, her mother-in-law, said unto her, My daughter, shall I not seek rest for thee, that it may be well with thee? And now it is not Boaz of our kindred, with whose maidens thou wast? Behold, he winnoweth barley tonight in the threshing floor. This Naomi know the law, so she was keeping the law of the blood relative about the king's man. So she was instruct her daughter-in-law. This day, these sisters, they can't allow the old woman to instruct them. And majority of these elderly women, they think they are young ladies, so they can even instruct the younger generation, which what that's how it's supposed to go. The older ones supposed to instruct the younger generation, but that's not happening. Me, I will be honest with you. I live in Europe. My aunties, elderly one and grandmother, they are living in Suriname. When I go to Suriname, I always sit there. I always talk to them. People like, what, not like, I'm not supposed to talk to them, but I'm just, they were like, what you can teach from them, and, these are old people. No, I rather go and sit among the elderly people, the elderly man and the elderly woman, because I have many things I have learned from them, especially my grandmother and my aunties. Talk to them, they know many things. You think they don't know things because you're going to school. No, they know things more than you do. So look how this woman, she was instruct Ruth. Okay, so many things, when you have question, go and ask your elderly one, those who believe in the Bible. In my case, my grandmother, my aunties, like I said, with my people there, many things in the Bible, they keep the law. If they don't know the book, they keep them. So many advice that they give me, they are the law. Okay, so they have teach me many things. Okay, but let me go read. Okay. So, 3. Wash thyself therefore, and anoint thee, and put thy raiment upon thee, and get thee down to the floor. But make not thyself known unto the man, until he shall have done eating and drinking. And when he said, make, but make not thyself known unto him, she wasn't saying that go and sleep with him, but um, she not supposed to cover her face so that he know who she was until he have show have done it after he have drinking. Okay, but they was eating, so supposed to cover her face. He supposed to, I don't know how, but she not supposed to make Boaz know that it was her. Only after when he was after he did drink and eat, she's supposed to know herself that she was Ruth. Okay, so you see how the mother was instruct the sister, check, put, anoint, all those things, dress this, dress that. These elderly people, they know many things that you think they old and they don't know nothing. They know many things that you don't know. Okay, so 4. And it shall be when he lie down, that thou shalt mark the place where he shall lie, and thou shalt go in and uncover his feet, and lay thee down, and he will tell thee what thou shalt do. It sounds so romantic to me when I read this. When I read all this book, it's like you watch all these movie, all this love movie. That's how, especially this story. It's like when I read this, it's like it's so romantic. Like, oh, my family were so romantic this day. You don't see that much. People think romantic is when your husband bring a rose to you. Those things are of the heathen, or they bring you a box of chocolate and all those things. No, those things are of the heathen. The Israelites have their way to be romantic and be and romantic and spoil their man or spoil their wife. Okay, but it sounds so romantic to me. So she was sitting there. She so and or cover his feet and lay thee down, and he will tell thee what thou shalt do. I'm going to stop here. So I'm going to start at 7. And when Boaz had eaten and drunk, and in his heart was merry, he went to lie down at the end of the heap of corn. And she came softly and uncovered his feet, and laid her down. So romantic. And it came to pass at midnight that the man was afraid and turned himself, and behold, a woman laid at his feet. She was there. And he said, who art thou? And she answered, I am Ruth thine handmaid. Spread therefore thy skirt over thine handmaid, for thou art a near kinsman. So she is telling him, you are a near kinsman. So Boaz, you know the law about the kinsman as well. And he said, blessed be thou of the Lord, my daughter, for thou hast shown more kindness in the latter and than at the beginning, inasmuch as thou followest not young men, whether poor or rich. You see? Okay. And now, my daughter, fear not, I will do to thee all that thou request. For all the city of my people doth know that thou art a virtuous woman. She was a virtuous woman, and that's how many of you, sister, this type of sister you're supposed to you have to fight to become. Okay, not only talk you are a virtuous woman, not only when you cover your head, dress, cover your skin, or all those things. That's mean you are a virtuous woman. No, no, no. It must be in you, and that's going to shine, going to be shine. It will become outside. Okay, it must start inside, and that's going to be like how this rose, they like open. I don't know how to tell, but it's going to be shine. Okay, that's how you must to be. When you are like that, sister, you are very expensive. You don't have to run after man. The man will come to you. When you can find a man, don't go and run and do crazy thing. No, if you know you're a virtuous woman, they are very expensive. They are very they are very uh, 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 hard to find. So when you know you are one of that, but you have to go according to this book. When you know you are one of them, when you know you're not going to run after men, you're going to just wait there, and you know that the Most High going to send you the righteous one on the right time. Okay, He will send you. He will. And when you know someone won't come and try to abuse you, you know, you as a virtuous sister, you're not going to allow those things. But I'm worth it. I'm a worth it woman. I'm a worth it woman. So the Most High going to give me someone who 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 are worth it of me. No, who deserve me. So that's why I don't go run and do crazy things. Be like this sister, Ruth. Be like her. Do your thing, work hard, and do your thing. And the Most High going to send someone to your way. Okay? Or it can be also different. The Most High going to send someone to the man their way. Don't rush nothing. The Most High know that you need someone. Okay? Anyway, so he told him all about the kinsman things. Okay? So, 12. And now it is true that I am thy near kinsman. Howbeit there is a kinsman nearer than I. So he said, I know I'm a blood relative of your husband which that died, but there are one who are more closer than I. Tarry this night, and it shall be in the morning that if he will perform unto thee the part of a kinsman, well, let him do the kinsman part. But if he will not do the part of kinsman to thee, then I will do the part of a kinsman to thee, as the Lord liveth, lie down unto the morning. So Boaz was keeping the law. He was keeping all this law. They know about the law. So do you think if Boaz was so worried about this, not because he was like, no, I know there are more or closer brother who are more closer with your husband. So he is the one who's supposed to marry you. So, but I have to go to him and talk to him before. I cannot marry according to the law. I can't do that. So if he was so worried about this law, do you think he going to marry a Moabite sister, a Moabite woman, which the book said we're not supposed to marry them, which the book said they are not supposed to come to the congregation forever? No, because this woman was an Israelite who was living in the land of Moab, who the Israelites stole 300 years ago. Okay, so it became they possessed their land, and later on it became the land of Gad, the Gadites, the Reubenites, and the Manasseh. So you see, so she was a sister. She was a sister. She was an Israelite sister. Okay, so let's go to the last book. Let's go to the last book. That's the book of Ruth, chapter 4. I'm going to read 1 through 8. Okay, and then when Boaz up, then went Boaz up to the gate and set him down there. And behold, the kinsman of whom Boaz spake came by, unto whom he said, Ho, just a one turn aside, sit down here. And he turned aside and sat down. So he went to the man who's supposed to marry Ruth, okay? And he took then 10 men of the elders, which he's keeping, that we're going to read soon. He is keeping the law, okay? And he took 10 men of the elders of the city and said, Sit ye down here. And they sat down. And he said unto the kinsman Naomi, That is come again out of the country of Moab, settled a parcel of land, which was our brother Amalek's. And I thought the adversaries, thee saying, But buy it before the inhabitants, and before the elder of my people. If thou wilt redeem it. But if thou wilt not redeem it, then tell me, that I may know. For there is none to redeem it besides thee, and I am after thee. And he said, I will redeem it. Okay? So, then Boaz said, What day thou buyest the field of the hand of Naomi, Thou must buy it also of Ruth the Moabites, the wife of the dead, to raise up the name of the dead upon his inheritance. And this was supposed to do. You have to you have to raise the name of you have to keep the name of the brother that died. You have to raise the generations. Okay, the Most High know what he was doing. Okay, onto his generation. So he was like, yes, I'm going to do that. But then now he's telling him, if you're going to redeem that, thou must buy also of Ruth the Moabites, the wife of the dead, to raise up the name of the dead upon his inheritance. And the king's man says, I cannot redeem it for myself, lest I mar mine own inheritance. Redeem thou my right to thyself, for I cannot redeem it. So he said, I cannot not redeem it. I cannot do this, so you can go and have her. Okay? Now this was the manner of former time in Israel concerning redeeming and concerning changing, for the confirm all things. And man plucked off his shoe and gave it to his neighbor. And this was a testimony in Israel. And we're going to read soon. Well, this when you say you're not going to raise up the name of the dead, then you have to take your shoes, put out of your shoes and do other things. Okay, so therefore the king's man said unto Boaz, buy it for thee. So he drew off his shoes. Okay, and this law, the tribe, like where I come from, in Suriname there are many tribes. The runaway slave, there are many tribes, and the one where I came from, they call them the Saramacans. Okay, the Saramacanas. Okay, I don't know how to say that in English, but they say the Saramacanas, and they was keeping this law. But because they were the only tribes who was still keeping this law, and in the other tribes, they was like, in their eye, it was so wicked. They was like, how can you, when your husband die, you can marry to the brother? But the people didn't know that it was biblical, but they like, in their eye it was evil. So, but also they was doing one thing. The brothers, because the brothers, they was killing one another. They was doing witchcraft one another. When a brother, his brother have a wife, and he want that wife because the wife look beautiful, or I don't know, but he want that wife. They will go and do witchcraft and kill the brother so that he can redeem the sister. So they was using this law to do many things, to killing one another, only to get the wife. So in the end of the day, they get rid of this law in the tribe where I came from. My grandmother and my father, they told me all those things. So they was keeping this. And the people didn't know that it was of the Bible till this day. When you talk about it, when my husband died in 2017, and me, I didn't marry with. I wasn't married with the same tribe of my people. But I married to another tribe, which called the Okanas, and they wasn't kept that law. So when my husband died, it was like, are you people still doing those things? It's so wicked. So you tell me that how, when your husband dies, so you're supposed to marry to the other brother? How can you do such a thing? I was like, no, we don't keep it anymore. We don't keep it. Okay, we don't do it. It was like, yes, because that's so wicked. But it's according to the law, and it's a great thing. There's nothing wrong with it. But it's the society to make it become a wicked thing. But there's nothing wrong with it. Okay, the Most High, when the Most High give you a law, when the Most High tell you something, He know why He does these things. Okay, He know why He does this thing. So we're going to read about redeeming, about the inheritance, also about the inheritance, about the blood relative, about the kingsmen. So we're going to read the inheritance, okay, because it's also about the inheritance. And that's the book of Numbers, chapter 27. First, I'm going to read. You can read the other one for yourself. I'm going to start at verse 6 through 11. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, The daughters of Ze- Zelope had speak right. Thou shalt surely give them a possessions of an inheritance among their father's brethren, and thou shalt cause the inheritance of their father to pass on to them. You know, and thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel, saying, If a man die and have no son, then ye shall cause his inheritance to pass on to his daughter. And if he have no daughter, then ye shall give his inheritance unto his brethren. And if he have no brother, then ye shall give his inheritance unto his father brethren. And if his father have no brother, then ye shall give his inheritance unto his kinsmen. And this is exactly what they did, with Ruth, because the two sons died. So and Boaz was a kinsman. He was a relative, also blood relative, but not closer like the brothers and the one who refused. But and here he said, and if his father have no brother, then ye shall give his inheritance unto his kinsman, that is next to him of his family, and he shall possess it. And it shall be unto the children of Israel a statute of judgment, as the Lord command of Moses. And this is also, lands also, but this also can be also, the woman that you're going to, or the man or the woman that you're going to raise up the children. Okay. Let's go to the last book, and that's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 25. Deuteronomy chapter 25. We're going to read verse 5 through 10. If brother dwell together and one of them die, and have no child, the wife of the dead shall not marry without unto a stranger. Okay? So that's why Ruth was a stranger unto Boaz. Okay? Because he wasn't Boaz wasn't the very close relative. He was a little bit far. He wasn't kinsman. He was a little bit too far. Okay, so you're not supposed to go marry onto a stranger, and this stranger or onto no. I didn't say it. I didn't say it right. Sorry. Okay, I didn't say it right. This stranger or like another tribe. Sorry, this stranger is another tribe. Okay, this stranger is another tribe. Okay, and yes, it's another tribe. I explained it wrong. This stranger is another tribe. I'm going to read it. Going to start in the beginning. If brethren dwell together and one of them die and have no child, the wife of the dead shall not marry without unto a stranger. Her husband brother shall go in unto her, and take her to him to wife, and perform the duty of a husband brother unto her. Just like Boaz asked the man that you do the same thing? Can you perform the duty to become her wife and raise up the seed of the two his husband who died? And the man says no. And it shall be that the firstborn which she bare shall succeed in the names of his brother which is dead, that his name be not put out of Israel. This is why the Most High one, when you die, when the husband die, you have the sister supposed to marry to another brother. Okay, only to remain the seed must so that the seed didn't perish. Okay, yes, so that his name didn't perish. Okay, and if the man like not to take his brother's wife, then let his brother's wife go up to the gate unto the elders, and say, My husband brothers refuse to raise up unto his brother a name in Israel. He will not perform the duty of my husband brother. Then the elder of this city shall call him and speak unto him. And if he stand to it, and say, I like not to take her, then shall his brother's wife come unto him in the presence of the elders, and loose his shoes off his foot, and spit in his face, and shall answer and say, So shall it be done unto that man that will not build up his brother's house. And his name shall be called in Israel the house of him that had his shoes loose. And like I have read, this man, he take his shoes off. I have read in the book of the rest book about the shoes, because he refused when he and the elders and Boaz and the sister, they came together. He refused, and we have read something about the shoes. He took his shoes off, and this is what did happen when they were sitting there when he refused. So this was the law of the kingsman. So this was the lesson of that Ruth is Israelite and not a Moabite. Like I said, when you read about someone in the book, and it doesn't matter if you read he is Canaanite or he is Canaanite or whatever. You read something that he is of another land, and you see that the Most High, because the Most High always put a link between that person and the law. So when you see that, you know that person is an Israelite, but you have to go back to find out why she is calling or he is calling that name. Because when you go and read the history of our people, the history, you see our people was mingling with them, or like the story, like about what I have read, that our people, our ancestors, they possessed the land of the Moabites, which became later of the Amorites. Okay, they possessed it, and still they was calling it the land of Moab. That's why they was say Moab is the Moabites. So don't allow name things or stranger or heathen, or like name like this the Moabites, or that the Canaanites, or this and that, to scare you. Okay, don't allow that. You have to seek out, find out why they put it, that he or she carrying that name. So this was the lesson. I hope it's very clear, because it is very clear that this sister, she was an Israelite woman who married to Boaz of Judah, and out of the seed line David came. Okay, all these years I did believe, she was a straight, she was a heathen woman, and Boaz was a tribe of Judah. And when you go back, and David great great grandmother was a heathen. No, that's not true. That's what I do used to believe, but that's not true according to the law. And there is much more I'm going to bring to you. About some people in the book, we always believe that they were heathen, but they are not heathen. I found it out not that too long when I was studying the book of Ruth. I found it out. When I found it out, I was so happy. I was like, yes, you know. So there are many people here. We always the heathen teach us they are heathen. So everyone go with that. We never like, let me go and find out if he or she is a really heathen. But the Most High he's opened his children eye to see what the scriptures say. So I hope next week I can bring that to you. But I'm very excited about that one. So I hope this lesson was very clear to you, and I hope you got understanding. Shalom.